Resident Evil 2, the remake, is hands down the best game I've played in quite some time. I have deep roots in the Resident Evil franchise, as the original Resident Evil 2 was not only my first Resident Evil game, but also my first PlayStation game. The franchise has always fascinated me, as it's the first true series to coin the term survival horror and consistently deliver on all notes. Back before I was Mythic Tyrant, I used to play Resident Evil 3 Nemesis on a daily basis and would even speedrun the game just for fun on the highest difficulty setting with no deaths. My best time was 1 hour and 24 minutes. Wow, I miss those days. Anyway, I won't lie. I was a bit worried when I first heard about the Resident Evil 2 remake. You see, I still consider the first Resident Evil remake to be one of the greatest remakes of all time. It stayed true to the original while also expanding on both gameplay mechanics as well as the story. When I heard that Resident Evil 2 remake was not going to follow that same formula, I grew concerned. Thankfully, once I started playing the game itself, I was quickly sure that my concerns were no longer valid, as the game delivers on every possible note. You spend roughly half the game exploring a zombie-infested Raccoon City police station as either rookie police officer Leon Kennedy or as Claire Redfield, sister of the infamous Chris Redfield from the previous game. Along the way, you'll stumble across numerous puzzles as you try to survive against flesh-eating zombies and insane mutants created from both the T-Virus as well as the newly created G-Virus. One of the biggest shockers for me was the introduction of the infamous Mr. X on the first playthrough soon after you make your way past a downed helicopter. In the original game, he didn't show up until your second playthrough, so to see him make his ever so powerful presence known right from the get-go was quite a surprise and a welcome one at that. He even shows up when there are other creatures lurking about, so you have to be on your toes in order to stay alive. After graduating from the police station, I soon learned just how expansive the game really is. Most of the sections from the original have been greatly expanded upon, such as the truck stop at the beginning of the game, which was nothing more than part of a cutscene in the original, as well as the sewers, which are now an expanded area full of dark tunnels and puzzles to keep the challenge alive and well. All the while, you'll need to save and conserve ammo, as what you'll find will be fairly scarce, and you'll need a lot of it to deal with Mr. X along with the other various boss encounters in the game. Fortunately, you can utilize the various types of gunpowder lying around to craft additional ammo, and believe me, you'll need it. There are noticeably several more enemies in this game compared to the original, and with the amount of backtracking that you do, you won't be able to simply run around and avoid them forever. The graphics and the lighting are absolutely stunning and pull you into the world of Resident Evil, and the music complements it perfectly. You can choose between the remastered music or the original, which I highly recommend going with the latter, since even after all this time, it still holds up and will send shivers down your spine. I have to give a lot of credit to Capcom here, as the game originally started out as a mod, and some of those individuals working on it were hired by Capcom to work on this reimagining of such a classic game. In the future, I'd love to see the same treatment given to other iconic Resident Evil games such as Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, as well as Resident Evil Code Veronica. In fact, I would prefer that they spend more time remastering the old classic games rather than working on new ones, for as we all know, games like Resident Evil 5 and 6 received lukewarm reviews at best. I was thoroughly impressed by the amount of love and attention to detail that went into this game. I was skeptical prior to the game's release, but the new style and over-the-shoulder perspective seems to fit quite well with Resident Evil 2. And with that, I will say that Resident Evil 2 isn't just a collector's item, but it's also my game of the year. So, Resident Evil 2, what are your thoughts on this game? What was your favorite part of the campaign? Do you prefer to play as Leon or Claire? Or better yet, what is your absolute favorite Resident Evil game? What Resident Evil game would you like to see get the Resident Evil 2 treatment? I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below, and I'd like to take a moment to thank each and every one of you for taking the time out of your busy day to sit down and watch this video. I really do hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, I hope you'll consider subscribing for more great content right here on the channel. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful week and a wonderful holiday. I'll catch you all right back here next time. And as always, I'm the Tyrant, signing off.